welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. Leah's here from Central Valley Electric Cooperative. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great this morning. How are you, Gene?
Oh, we're getting through the week. It seems like every week I think, well, things are going to slow down this week.
Uh-huh.
No.
They don't. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I've got, you wanted me to bring up your Facebook page, and for those that are watching online, I'll bring it up on the screen, but
Right.
you wanted to make sure and talk again about ways that people can communicate with their with the folks at CVE and stay up to date on everything that's going on.
That's right. And we did post that information yesterday, but I'll just briefly mention it here on the radio today. So last week I was working with a couple of customers that were in the Chaves County area up north of Roswell. And I said something to them, well, did you read the article in the newsletter in September? Did you happen to get a chance to read that one back in February or whatever? And both ladies on the same day both told me no, that they don't get the newsletter. And I said, well...
You're shocked.
I kind of was. But they said they pay their bill online through our Smart Hub app, and so therefore they don't get the paper copies of the bill inserts that we do for advertising purposes or the newsletter that we do for informational purposes. So it got me thinking and looking into, how do we communicate better with this group of folks? So last week we had a member services meeting of our statewide group, and we kind of strategized and talked a lot about how other co-ops do it, and came back and, got some different ideas. But for right now, anyone that wants information regarding Central Valley Electric can access our website, and that's cvecoop.org. It has everything that you can imagine, from newsletters to enchantment to your annual reports that are full of information, plus current information such as rebates and programs that are active and dates of upcoming information that might be interesting, or even events. So I just want people to know that you're always welcome to come in the office. We do, require masks at this point, and we will continue, it sounds like, for another month.
Yep, that's what I heard.
Yeah, so we will follow those guidelines, but come in the office. There's, we'll be happy to help you. There, sometimes coming between 12 and 1 at lunchtime is a little harder, but we do have coverage for customer service and member service, so don't worry about that. But you can always come in the office. You can go through the drive-through. We have information in the lobby. We've got this new advertising screen, or 3 screens actually now in the lobby, where you can learn about this, and this, just sitting there waiting to talk to somebody, or while you're standing in line to pay your bill. So there's great information there. The newsletters do go out in the bill. The Enchantment comes out as a separate mailing, which is a great magazine that's put together by our statewide group, and it has some information that's specific to Central Valley Electric in it, but it has also some statewide information. We have Facebook. Anything that like if you were trying to look up a new company or a business, Gene, do you usually go to the internet and look for their website, or do you go to Facebook and look for a Facebook page?
I have done both.
Okay.
I have done both. I'll tell you what I don't do is I don't even know if I have a phone book anymore.
We are listed in the phone book too.
Well, as you should be. But I think I'll do half of one and other. I'll either see if they have a website or I'll go look at Facebook. I think if I'm trying to reach a specific person and I can't get a phone number or I can't get a phone call, I'll try to message on Facebook.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll kind of do both. I'll look and see what they have for a website, and if I can find what I need there, great. If not, then I will pull it up on social media. So I've done both. I've looked at both.
Well, and I think I would agree with you. I've done both too, but we also have a messaging opportunity from our website. So if you choose to look us up on the website or to look up something specific, you can message us from the website. You can also message us from Smart Hub, and you can message us on Facebook.
Okay.
So I think we're pretty accessible. And but that kind of reading material that's published that the ladies I talked to in Roswell last week weren't getting is some of the most valuable information that we put out there. So we're going to reevaluate how we're getting that information to our Smart Hub bill payers or users, and see if we can do something in a separate mailing, or something that doesn't end up in the trash and that people will take a chance to look at.
What is it that the Smart Hub folks need to do? They just need to sign up for the newsletter?
Yes, they could sign up for our email services, which is something else. So if you sign up for our email services, which you can also do via the website or via Facebook, or give us a call, email me, whatever you want to do. email Raylyn, and we'll get you added to our constant contact list.
Okay.
And we use constant contact because of the security level. And our IT department has been following that to make sure that everything, gets to people safely and that anything incoming comes in safely. So constant contact has been very good about doing that. And we send out anywhere, depending on the time of year, probably 2 to 6 emails a month.
Okay.
Minimum of 2, probably a maximum of 6, and except when we were going through all those outages in the winter time. And then we sent probably 10 or 11 that one month.
Right. Well, I'll accept that amount.
Okay.
Sometimes people that are on constant contact contact me constantly, and I'm like, unsubscribe,
Well, and you do have that opportunity, and we really only have about 700 subscribers right now, but we only started off with about 300, so we get probably a request or 2 every week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even if you are a customer CVE and you use the Smart Hub, which a lot of folks are doing this stuff online. Go ahead and sign up for the email service so that you get the newsletter and you get the announcements of the different things that are going on that you don't get just from the app.
And there's 2 components to that. We can email your bill to you without sending you anything else. So if you choose just to have your bill sent to you rather than any other communication, that is an option as well.
Okay. And something else I wanted to ask you about, too. There seems to be a lot more, another push, if you will, to get people to think about wind and solar as a means of replacing their energy that they're paying for from whoever it is that they're paying for their energy from.
Yeah.
When it comes to that type of program, if you're a CVE customer and you're thinking about solar panels, or I don't think I want to get one of those big windmills like what we've seen the blades going through town.
Oh, man.
Have you seen those trucks?
They're enormous.
That's amazing. What should people do if they're a CVE customer and they're thinking about maybe doing a solar installation or something like that? What would you recommend they do?
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because if someone is thinking about it, they should call us first.
Okay.
And I say that simply because we follow a New Mexico interconnection manual that is approved by the New Mexico Public Regulation Commission, and it has step-by-step time frames, guidelines. It's New Mexico law. It's something that we are trying to follow. So if a customer is considering solar or wind or any other renewable energy, it's important for us to have what they call a pre-application discussion. And in that pre-application discussion, we just talk to them about what our role is in the process and what happens after the installation. And then we go through, and hopefully they'll fill out the application after that instead of before that.
Right.
But just trying to follow those timelines makes everything a little more smoothly. I twice yesterday, I talked to 2 customers after the installation was already done.
Oh, wow.
Before an application had been filed.
So it's all installed and they're ready to go, and they're ready to have you guys start buying power from them.
Yes. And I actually went to one of the people's homes with a completed system, and I said, it doesn't really work that way. We have to do an inspection. The county has to do an inspection. We have to stamp this thing approved. It has to go through Chuck. And none of that happened in these 2 cases. So in that one specifically. So I'm working with a couple of others right now to try to get back into that swing of the application comes first, the approval, and then we move on to the agreement, and then we move on to the installation, because there's just so many pieces of that. And actually that interconnection manual is under revision. The manual that we operate now is 2008 edition, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
But we have a working group, and there's 3 of us at CVE who are also involved with that working group, so we're trying to make sure that our input is considered, and that we're listening to other co-ops, and we're listening to other utilities, and we're listening to other people within the state that are having some challenges as well as solar companies. They're part of that working group. But it gets a little confusing sometimes, because the steps that they're wanting to take or wanting us to take are continuing to get more involved instead of less involved, and this whole process was supposed to become more smooth, but it also has to be regulated.
Okay.
So I know that's a lot to talk about, but solar, wind, any of that, you are not going to probably ever get free of at least your monthly service charge. Every residential member pays a monthly service charge, just like anybody else pays for service charges, whether you have this or not. So a lot of people generate, a lot of people don't. A lot of people generate a lot, and a lot of people generate very little. So it just depends on the system and the quality of the system and what your personal habits are.
Right. But there still has to be that interconnect with your utility company first. Yes. And so if you're thinking about renewable, one of the first calls you need to make is to Leah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you call Central Valley Electric.
I mean, if you're a CVE customer,
yes.
Obviously, if you're an XL customer, you would call XL.
We are, again, still learning, but the manual is something that I've studied a lot in the last few months just to make sure we are staying in compliance with that. And Raylan is taking calls too. Our engineering department is taking calls. Our safety officer is taking a few calls. Wade, our distribution engineer, he's also taken a few calls. So if that happens, typically that application would come through member services first.
Okay.
If everything works smoothly.
That's right.
And if it doesn't, then we try to get it back on track.
Try to get it back on track. So, and I take it there are examples in the CVE territory where the process has been followed,
Yes.
the installation has been completed,
Yes.
and everything is all okay.
Yes, very, very, very much more lately than before, because we're much more aware of the time frames and the guidelines, and we're implementing those a lot better than we had for a while, because we weren't getting a lot of applications. But in the last year, we've had a lot of applications.
Yeah.
So we are, getting back in the swing of things, of following those guidelines.
Well, I can see where people are thinking about it. I mean, we've watched the power problems that happened in Texas earlier, and just overall concerns about the economy and just everything that people are worried about. I could see where some people might think we're just going to become more self-sufficient,
Right.
and rely less on other things. And so they may want to consider some renewable power source, but you still have to have that interconnect agreement. That's
In
still
New Mexico.
in New Mexico,
You know that things here are highly regulated versus some of the other states.
That's
but-
true. That's true.
So that you may be able to pop up a solar system in Texas pretty easily without having to go through a lot of that.
I would not
don't
be
know.
shocked if that were the
Yeah.
case, but
But it's also a safety situation. We don't want anybody messing with any of the CVE property, the meters, or anything like that without our knowledge.
yeah.
So we just need to work together, and that's all we want to do is just work together instead of separately. So.
All right. Well, go to the website, go to the Facebook page, bookmark
Call
them,
us.
save them, whatever. And then if you're a fan of the Smart Hub and just paying with the apps and stuff like that, sign up for the emails.
Yeah, then you'll get the newsletter, then you'll get the enchantment, and you'll get anything else that for upcoming information, such as the annual meeting or maybe a member appreciation event if we get to have one this year, and just all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, very good. Was there anything else?
I think that's it. Just thank you very much for letting me share that.
All right, thank you. And again, if you have any question, you're a CVE customer, call over to CVE, ask for Leah or Raylyn, and they'll help you out there in member services.
7463571.
Very good. Well, Leah, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
That's